All right, so in this video, I'm going to be going over what type of content pieces there are. And I simplify things as much as humanly possible. And what it comes down to is two pieces of content. For one, we have nurturing slash value-based content. And then secondly, we have attention-based content. Now, within these two catalogs of content, there's a lot of subcategories, and we'll talk about those subcategories. But first, let's actually define what nurturing and value based content actually is. Nurturing slash value based content is directed at our ICP, right? Helping them break through their limiting beliefs and guide them with knowledge they need in order to undergo a physique transformation. It's not about holding information back and giving them little tips and tricks, because I want you guys to understand those videos, those tips and trick videos that are for busy men that give them 2 meals that they can prepare when they're on the go. Those are all just pain medications, right? It's temporary fix. It might help them for a week. It might help them for a month. But at the end of the day, if we're not addressing their limiting beliefs, if we're not going and talking on a deep level, all we're doing is giving them pain medication, right? It's going to help for the time being. Nurturing slash value-based content is helping them break through their limiting beliefs and actually adopt a way of thinking that is actually going to be deeply transformative and allow them to go from their current situation to their desired situation, right? So that is what nurturing and value-based content is. And there can be two different routes that we take with nurturing and value-based context. And like I said, this is in simplest form. I have other modules breaking down, what each pillar actually can be broken down into on a deeper level. But nurturing and value-based content can go two ways. It can be educational or it can be mindset, right? The educational context is about things that are actually roadblocks in terms of their physique transformation, right? Things that they actually lack knowledge about that is holding them back from actually getting to their desired outcome, their desired physique, right? So now we're talking more fitness based, and the mindset, of course, is touching on their limiting beliefs. So content that reflects thought processes and you move on and how you move on, right? So educational would be content that guides your ICP. Sorry, I'm tripping. So nurturing and value-based content can be broken down into two filters. We have educational and we have mindset. Educational content is content that guides your ICP in their fitness journey and helps them overcome their current fitness slash dieting challenges, right? We're actually helping them deal with that lack of information in some cases so they can go from where they are now, their current situation, to their desired situation. Because sometimes what it comes down to is them just not having the knowledge they need in order to actually see physical change, right? They're always going off an idea, what TikTok is telling them. We want to be that person that gives them all the information they need to make the transformation for absolutely free. The ultimate goal is to have our personal brand, our YouTube, our Instagram, to be quite literally so much value that they can look at our pages and have everything they need to go and make a transformation for themselves. But like I said, educational content is content that guides your ICP in their fitness journey and helps them overcome their current fitness and dieting challenges. Now, the second subtopic is mindset, right? Mindset goes into content that reflects thought processes and how you move on a daily basis, right? Are you disciplined? Do you wake up early? Showcase what you do and what separates you from others, right? This is what separates you from other coaches, right? A different way of thinking, the way of thinking that our ICP needs to adopt to actually break through their limiting beliefs and get the results of their desired outcome, right? This is key aspect that will captivate people if done correctly. I want you guys to understand how deeply transformative mindset content is. It goes way beyond just posting videos that get people motivated. This is actually getting people to adopt a way of thinking that is actually going to break through their limiting beliefs, which ultimately is the reason why they're stuck in their current situations, right? The reason someone is seeking a coach in the first place, right, is because they have limiting beliefs that they haven't broken. And because they haven't broken these limiting beliefs, they can't get the results that they're looking to get in terms of their physique. They're going to say things like, I don't have the time, I don't have the information, I don't have the accountability, I don't have the accountability, I don't have the motivation, and that's why they're in front of you. So as a coach, as someone that is a leader, we need to be living, for one, with a way of thinking that is actually going to, for one, get us the results that we've wanted, right? And now we're taking the same mindset that we've adopted to get our results, to give it to whoever's watching, right? A lot of people, a lot of coaches think this way. Whoever's in my program, I'm going to give you the mindset that you need to get results. No, it's about putting enough value, enough information out there so that anyone looking at your personal brand that correlates with your ICP can adopt your way of thinking through your content, right? And it's when it comes down to, and it's when you actually have so much value in your content correlating with your ICP's limiting beliefs and content that helps them adopt the way of thinking that they need to have in order to get the results they want, that you are in that spot. I like to call it that spot, right? Where the leads are coming in. Not only the leads are coming in, but they're qualified leads. They're guys that fit your ICP, and it's exactly the spot that you want to be in. So I broken down like I said, that's nurturing and value-based. This is the most valuable piece of content that you can be dropping, right? And I love to run the 80-20 rule. So 80% of our content needs to consist of this nurturing value-based content. And 20% of our content is going to be geared towards attention, right? Off the start, in order to get views and sort of, right? Where attention goes, people love to say where attention goes, money flows. People love to say where attention goes, money flows, and that's partially true. We want the attention because it will help us, for one, right? People love to say where attention goes, money flows, and that's partly true. We still want to captivate general appeal, but we want to make sure that we're speaking and making our ICP, we want to make sure that we're speaking to and making our ICP feel as special as possible. Like this program, this offer was made for them, right? But we still want some general appeal. And not only that, but I want you to get your personality out there, because this is something that a lot of people lack, right? Yes, you'll get your value out there in terms of nurturing and value and mindset and, your way of thinking. But we also want to share, funny sides of us, right? Things that make us human. We don't want to make it look like we're this picture perfect human, but we want to be relatable on some level. So this attention-based content will consist of transformational videos, entertainment, lifestyle. Entertainment is more so just like funny stuff, that gets your personality out there. Not every video needs to be super serious and hardcore, right? You want to share goofy sides. If you want to share all angles, because the more the people get to know you, is the more they actually know what they're buying into. At the end of the day, you are the product, right? So you need to be showing all angles and all aspects of you. So attention-based content is meant to be the content that is made for general appeal. Like I said, it's like Clash Royale or Clash of Clans. If you ever played that game, the nurturing and value-based content is like the rocket or a fireball. The radius, right? The parameter is smaller. Guess what? It has more impact. It's made specifically for our ICP. So when it hits them, it really hits them on a deeply transformative level. Now, our attention-based content is more like our arrows. The parameter is bigger, but guess what? It does less damage, but it hits more people, right? And that's the way I love breaking it down. If you guys caught that analogy, you caught it. If not, do your research. Search up the damage of arrows in Clash Royale and search up the damage of a rocket, and also look at the parameter. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Attention-based content can consist of many different types of pieces of content, but for this and simplicity's sake, we broke it down into three. We have transformational, we have entertainment, and we have lifestyle, right? And I chose these three because these are the three main pillars of attention-based content that online fitness coaches post, right? Transformational being physique transformation videos. It is that simple. Before and afters with a hard audio always hit. And the reason why these never gone anywhere is because anyone who gets in the fitness scene is looking to make a transformation. That's the whole point of fitness, right? To make a transformation. With that being said, since the start of fitness on social media to right now, transformational videos haven't gone anywhere because they're quite literally the foundation of fitness. Everyone that's involved in fitness is looking to make transformation. So transformational videos are great to post, to say the least. Next, we have entertainment. So these are the most viral videos, purely posting entertainment trends, typically yield high views and pushed heavily by the algorithm, right? Maybe it's an audio, maybe it's a trend, right? If we utilize these waves, these trends, not, I'm talking about on an 80-20 basis, right? We could be capitalizing on views and traffic that can get people to our page to actually consume the nurturing and value-based content that will convert them into a buyer or a potential buyer, at least a warm lead, right? So the whole reason of getting this attention is to drive people to your page. And once you drive people to your page, you have so much value that they can consume that they ultimately become a potential prospect in the process of just looking through your page and consuming your content, right? And thirdly, we have lifestyle. So show your life on a daily basis. Authenticity is key. Think about your future audience a year from now, looking back on the progress that you've made, that alone builds large levels of trust and will get you more clients. You breaking down all the levels and showing your lifestyle in a present basis, and maybe even touching on your lifestyle back in the day, it's going to build trust with the person on the other side of the screen and show them that you're human, right? When you pull out your phone and you film an in the moment video, it shows that you're in the moment. You're human. You know what I'm trying to say? It's not always picture perfect. It's not always let me set my tripod up and film and record, bro. Right? So lifestyle content is actually very important in terms of breaking down your personal brand and giving them that sense of, relatability, right? So all in all, that about wraps up the different types of content that you can post. And the two main ones being nurturing / value based and attention based. Like I said, they all go into subcategories, and I could probably branch this off into hundreds of different categories, right? But these are the main ones that I want you guys focusing on. And like I said, if there's any else, but these are the main ones I want you guys to focus on and nail to a T. And like I said, we want to be running the 80, hold on, the 80, let me get this bigger. Why is it like that? We want to be running the 80-20 rule. All right. The 80-20 rule. So 80% nurturing / value based and 20% attention based trends, transformational videos, lifestyle videos that bring that sense of relatability, and not only that, but shows that you're human. All right. This is going to be what makes out your content foundation.